What's up, guys? Arsenal Garage. So tonight, me and my friend Carlin, are gonna go pick up my new project car. Another one, and I'm broke, but what's life without more project cars? So, I'm not gonna tell you guys what it is just yet. Hint is, for those of you that know, we'll just say it's got a 3S GTE. And so that means some fun. Some of you may already have it, I guess, but it's obviously a Toyota, again, because I like JDM turds, especially old Toyota ones, I guess. So anyways, me and Carlin are going to hook up. I got the truck ready to go, and we're going to head out shortly. Just got it home. It's in the garage. Got everything unloaded, all the extra parts. And honestly, I'm super excited. I used to have a white NA92 with the 5SFE. It had a shaved head, a few things. Awesome car. I loved it. It just had some problems, and I couldn't do it at the time, so I had to sell it. So I'm really pumped to get this back. Hood's up right now, so it's definitely going to need a repolish, at least, if not a new clear. Carbon fiber hood. I have the original hood sitting in there. Paint's pretty decent. It's not perfect. It's got a few blemishes. This is the worst part right here. See, there's a rust bubbling, so that might have to be stripped down and painted. But I don't know if this is a factory color or not. It looks like it's been resprayed. See, where they scratched it off. It is a rebuilt title, so maybe this fender had to be replaced. But it actually seems like it's got a lot of good parts on it. It's got a carbon fiber hood, carbon fiber air intake. It's got like I don't know if it's a legit Momo steering wheel, but it's got that. It's got a Greddy boost gauge. It's got a turbo timer on it. It's got some harnesses that I don't know if I'll keep. Interior's pretty decent. Needs some cleaning up. It's missing some trim pieces. I'm not really too surprised. I think it's a Bomex wing, or it's a knockoff of a Bomex wing. Exhaust sounds super good. I'm not going to start it up right now. It runs pretty rich, but man, does it have some nice turbo sounds. Blow-off valve, I don't know what's standard, what's not. I don't know if that's a standard intercooler, maybe. All in all, it seems pretty good. It's got like 148,000 miles on it. It's got an Advin sticker on the rear window. I don't know what the wheels are, if they are or not, but overall, I mean, someone has loved and cared for it at one point. You know, someone looked like they put in the time and the money. I don't think it was the last owner, because he had it sitting for most of its life. I think that he had it. It's got a check engine light for something. I think it might have to... Sometimes when it's cold, it takes a second for it to rev up. It, like, lags and then revs. So something's up with that, but maybe it's turbo, vacuum leak, boost leak, who knows. I'll just have to look into it. And then it came with a lot of extra parts. I've got a full set of the factory wheels for it with half decent tires. I've got the hood. I've got a transmission. I've got an AFM. This looks to be probably a camshaft. Oh, there's two of them. Yeah, two camshafts. Throttle body starter. Antenna, fuel rail, intake manifold thingy. Then I've got a block. Might make a cool table. There's a torque converter, which makes me wonder, maybe it used to be an automatic. Who knows? You never know with cars. Intercooler piece for that, which I might put on. I don't know if I'm a huge fan of that intake. You can also see it rubs. Got an axle stub, a differential. Say what? An intake runner. That looks like a cylinder head on the bottom. Oh, wow. More parts than I realized. Came with a fitted car cover as well. Honestly, there's a brand new short shifter kit there on the floor. It's a T-top, so it's got a few issues, of course. So, this window's like off track. It doesn't like to roll up and down. No biggie. The main issue, so the clutch pedal, watch this. It stays there. So basically what I'm thinking is the guy who last owned it has driven it before. I don't know what's up with that ugly mesh. But he replaced the clutch. I didn't seem the most mechanically inclined ever, but he replaced the clutch, and the pedal goes straight to the floor, so you can't drive it. So honestly, I think it's a hydraulic problem. So I actually have a brand new Slave and Master sitting right here in case it's one of them, or it's a linkage issue. But overall, I'm really stoked on it. So now we just got to figure out what to do to make it drive. So quick little update, guys. Something I just found, which I'm super pumped about, is it's a Fuji Subo, whatever that is, exhaust, right? This is $1,100 brand new for this exhaust. I don't know if I already said it, but I paid $1,800 for this car. This is an $1,100 exhaust. I'm already pumped. There is the slave cylinder right there, kind of hard to see. But the slave cylinder does in fact move. It doesn't spring back. So I don't know if I can move it by hand even. But kind of leaning towards soda. It's probably something internally. The roll bearing's not the right one. Misinstalled something or other. I'm going to pull off this plate tomorrow and see if I can see anything. But chances are I'm just going to be pulling the trans, which I kind of expected. And so I bet I could have it out by tomorrow. I'm going to do some more snooping around, but I'm leaning towards the clutch issue right now. Maybe the clutch fork isn't slipped onto the ball like it's supposed to be. That could be a factor too. So we'll figure it out. Either way though, so I don't think it's hydraulic after all. So it means I can return those hydraulic parts I got, because it does move. I don't know how much it's supposed to move, but it moves. It's the next day. I'm laying on the cold ground, trying to figure out more or less what to do now. So basically, here's where we're at. So the clutch pedal, it moves a decent amount. The slave. So if I push it in more, it's got no spring to it though, and you can. Okay, so in the process of trying to break off the axle nuts, whoever put them on last must have been the Hulk, or had one hell of an impact gun, because my breaker bar, my impact won't budge it. I mean, it's an old Craftsman one. This is also Craftsman. You know, I've never really had issues with Craftsman quality, but I put my whole freaking weight on that thing, and more with the cheater pipe, which isn't the best way to go about it. But it sheared that sucker. So I guess it's time for some 3/4 drive stuff. So I think for the meantime, I'm gonna just start unhooking everything else. Probably make a run to Harbor Freight later. So I'm gonna undo the CV axles and everything else, I think, first, and just get everything else ready until I can unbolt those. PB blaster, so can try heating them up too. So we'll get to those. But for now on, I've got an instruction thing pulled up. So next, we're going to be pulling basically everything on this side. I'm going to try to do without. I don't think I have to pull off the thermostat, which would be nice. Intake piping is going to come off, all those hoses. There's a good chance I may have to undo radiator hoses. If I don't have to, I won't. There's the motor mount, the starter, all the wiring, the shift linkage. So yeah, so I guess we'll just start on that. Okay, so here's what's going on. Intake's off. Decided it's easier. Whatever's gonna make my life easier, I'm gonna do it, because I know these are a pain. Some people end up dropping the subframes to pull out these transmissions, and then you need your engine hoist to hold the engine. And if I can avoid that, I prefer to avoid that. So we're gonna try this first though, without dropping the subframe. So we're just gonna unbolt the axle stubs, and leave the CVs in. That's I've been doing some research. Some people say they do it just fine that way, so we're gonna do that. Starter's just about to come out. Unhook the radiator line, or the radiator hose, fuel line, a few little plugs, connectors. So just whatever's gonna make it easier. So we're gonna pull the starter out and look and find out what else needs to go. Snail power. I think the throw bearing blew up or something. It's still on the shifting the pivot ball. There's so much play in it though, and I was kind of able to stick my phone down next to the hole to try to take a peek, and it just something looks messed up in there. It doesn't look right. So getting everything unhooked. I broke the reverse light connector. I don't know, you probably can't see it. I'm gonna have to repin it probably. I just broke that. And there's a black ground wire right here. That's bolted underneath right there. Then there's the ground wire that goes from transmission to the frame. Just unbolted it at the body because it's easier. And I think basically all that's left really is you undo the axles, and then you do bell housing. Well, then you do this transmission mount and bell housing bolts, and I think that's really it. I already took off the transmission mount on this side, so the slave cylinder, everything's hanging off right there. Next up, I think we're going to unbolt the CV axles, so those are unbolted, and then we'll undo this, jack up the engine, and start fiddling around with that. Okay, so I think I found part of the issue. Maybe you can see it. So the cool thing is it's got a lightweight flywheel, which is neat, but I bet you guys can see it. There's pieces everywhere in there. So something blew up. Something definitely went wrong. I'm going to be unbolting the bottom of this, unbolting this control arm and that control arm, so I can pull the assembly this way. Just going to loosen up everything that I can, basically. It's missing. Not only was it actually missing a bolt on this CV, but I could loosen them all by hand quite easily. I think it might be missing a CV ball as well. So that's good news, I guess, right? That's fun. Turns out it does actually have all of the ball bearings in it. One was just loose in the back, so fun part is I got to repack this, and I don't know if anyone here has ever tried repacking a CV axle. It sucks, but I'm going to deal with that when it's going back together. It's off for now. I got to unpull the jack shaft, or whatever you want to call it, now from the engine. Then it's just the other CV axle, pop it out, or unbolt it. See if the bearings are the same way, if they're all loose. Bell housing, then it's transmission mount and bell housing bolts, so we're getting close. Okay, so if anybody else is doing this, and they do it for the first time like me, I was fighting trying to get this stupid thing off. You can see where I was hitting it with a punch. Didn't hurt anything with hitting it, but I was really confused. But it turns out there's this little clip right here that locks it in, right, to the bearing carrier. You pop that off and slides out super easy. I was like, so that's a nice thing to know. So that's out. Now, that took way longer than it should have. That's why you use the internet for these things. And then next, we're going to pull out this one over here. So we're going to undo all the bolts on it, all around it. We're actually pretty close now. Both CV axles are unhooked. Slave, shift linkage, starter. There's two engine mounts, or mounts. There's one on this side, there's one on that side. They're both unhooked. The reverse light's unhooked, the ground wires are unhooked. There's the mount. The speedo cable and sensor. The cover on the bottom. It's basically got that mount right there, and bell housing bolts, and then I think we're going to try dropping this sucker. Got all the bell housing bolts out, at least pretty confident I did. Looked around it, couldn't find any more. I looked on the transmission, that one, to look where all the bolt locations were, so I'm pretty sure I've got them all. So I think all that's really left is to undo the transmission mount here and lower it down. The reason I'm waiting right now is I'm trying to figure out how to accomplish it, because it's a lot of weight, and I don't know if I want to try benching it by myself. My jack's holding up the engine. Once I figure out that, then I'm going to go ahead and yank it out. I may go dig out my engine hoist and hold the engine up by the engine hoist, and that's what I think it would really be the easiest way by myself. It just sucks because then I have to get it unburied, and I have to move all this stuff out of the way, but, you know, it's just life, so I think I'm just going to do that. So as you can see, it's starting to get lowered down. Got that hooked up. The mount's undone. So we're going to see how this goes. Probably won't film much of it because it's going to be too much of a handful and I'm by myself. So I'll keep you guys posted though. Ran into an issue It's hitting the subframe, kind of what I was worried about. So it looks like I'm going to be unhooking suspension components and dropping the subframe as well, and cleaning up coolants. I'm not going to say this is the easiest transmission in the world to pull out, but I've done worse. I have more painful ones. So here's the rear suspension subframe. So basically, you undo the two control arms. There's one here. There's one there. One's a 17, one's a 19. You pull them out. Undo your sway bar end links on each side, and then I just undid this sway bar part to get it around the exhaust. So I think we're now ready to actually pull the transmission, so we'll try again. Alright, so here's what we've got. Got one grenaded throw bearing. The bearing is totally seized. So my guess is, so the guy who owned it put in some cheap Amazon or eBay clutch kit. This is why you don't do that. Especially in a car that took me 6 hours to take out the transmission. Hopefully it won't take as long to put it back in. Some of it was kind of figuring stuff out that I wasn't sure about, and I had to do research. But I don't know if they're typically made out of plastic for this one, but there's plastic bits everywhere. And it just, you know, like, it obviously didn't work very well, that's for sure. But this feels okay, which is nice, so that's still on there. So I'm thinking I'll probably just have to clean it out and get a new throw bearing. Based off the experience with that, I mean, the clutch looks okay, but I have no idea what clutch is on there. Chances are it's some performance special thingy. So I think I'm just gonna buy an Exceedi OEM clutch. They're like 120 bucks in Rock Auto. Come out with a throw bearing and everything you need. I'm gonna ask the guy if he put on that flywheel too, because depending on if that's a cheap flywheel, I might not use it too. We'll see. Either way, it was kind of a pain. Most part, everything went well. CV axles took me a while, and then it took me a while to just separate it because I thought I had another bolt because it was just stuck. Just turned out I just needed to pry harder. It came right apart. Only other issue I ran into is in taking out one of the rear subframe bolts. So I snapped one. So I'm gonna have to figure out what I'm doing about that, because that means I only have 3 out of the 4. It was already loose though. I think someone tried to do it and realized it was breaking. I tried heating it up and soaking it and stuff like that, just nothing. So it was kind of bound to happen. We'll figure that out when we get there. So for now, I gotta order a clutch, get one in. I'm gonna clean up for today. So I've been at this now for like 6+ hours. About 6 hours. Made some good progress, but yeah, I'm ready to clean up this nasty mess. Pretty excited to get this thing driving though. I really want to drive it so bad, especially some of the nasty turbo sounds this thing makes. But yeah, that's probably it for today. Alright, so this is actually like a week later after this time event takes place. I just figured I'd give you guys a quick ending to that video. So basically, ran into some issues pulling out the transmission, but we got it out that day. Transmission came out in one day. It wasn't terrible. The subframe had to come out. I had to undo all the mounts. I had to unbolt the CV axles from the hubs, undo, I think, 6 bolts around it. It actually wasn't really too terrible to pull out. It's kind of a pain, but you know, I've actually done worse. So that came out, and it came out all right. Sorry I didn't film the best on that, but it's kind of hard when you're doing it all yourself. So basically, that's the end of this video. And in the next few videos, you're going to be seeing it get put back together and what that entailed and so on and so forth. Still not quite done in the state right now, but you're going to see more about that later on. So basically, it's just going to be in a series here, a small series, I guess. So anyways, I appreciate you guys watching Arsenal Garage. Any comments, questions, ideas, whatever, you know, leave them down below. If you think it was good, please leave a like, subscribe, whatever. Just trying to grow a little bit here. So I hope you all have a great day.